What's going on, everybody? Harley Blakeman here from backgroundmenot.com. I want to make a short video to talk to you about interviewing and specifically interviewing with a criminal record. So I myself have a couple felonies from mistakes I made when I was 18, 19 years old. And of course, I've grown up, I've learned a lot, and I have always wanted to have better and better jobs. So now I have a really great job. Actually, my past 4 or 5 jobs have been really good. But now I'm actually a supervisor at a company, Fortune 500 company, and I'm making really good money. And they've got me in managing about 45 people, and I do payroll for 2 shifts. So I do payroll for over about 100 people, and I manage about 40, 45 people. So I got to this level. I was able to get these jobs and able to become a supervisor. One, because I've changed, and because I've studied and learned how to do that. But even if I knew how to do it, even if I had changed, I wouldn't be able to be where I am today if I didn't know how to interview really well. So I want to talk to you my 5 tips on how to interview. And I say how to interview with a criminal record, but about half, if not more than half, of the information I'm going to tell you is really just good advice for anyone who's going to be interviewing. But part of the advice is specifically for people with criminal records. So let's go ahead and dive right into the 5 tips I have for you if you're trying to interview for a really good job and you're worried that your criminal record is going to hold you back. Instead of worrying about the past, let's focus on the future. And I'm going to tell you the 5 tips that will really help you get the job you want by pretty much by doing really well in the interview. It's going to help you get the job you want. So the number one tip I have for everyone I talk to about employment is that you really need to know yourself. Now, it sounds really simple, but you'd be surprised how many people come in to interview and they're asked a question about their future goals or what they're good at or what their strengths or weaknesses are, and people don't have a good answer. They haven't thought it through. They didn't prepare well. Pretty much they didn't know themselves all that well. They didn't prepare to talk about themselves. So make sure you understand your strengths, weaknesses, your past experiences, but also where you want to go in the future. Most employers ask behavioral-based questions, and this means that they're going to ask you to tell me about a time that you displayed leadership. Tell me about a time that you solved a complex problem. Tell me about a time that you resolved a conflict at work. And to answer these questions, you have to know yourself. You have to know your past experiences and how you handled them. So you're going to need to reflect on your past experiences, your strengths, your weaknesses, and where you want to go with your future. My second tip for you is to know the position. And again, this sounds super simple, but I'm telling you, this is how you get the job, is by being more prepared than the other people they interview. So know the position really well. I mean, print the job description, read it 2 or 3 times, and highlight words that repeat or words that really pop out. They're key words usually. If you're looking for a marketing job, there's going to be specific words, and those words are a skill they're looking for, or those words are a personal trait they're looking for in that job candidate. So learn about the company, learn about the position, and know the position really well. Know what they're looking for, so when you answer their questions, you can cater to what they're looking for. The third tip I have for you is be prepared to explain your criminal record. So obviously this is just for people with criminal records, but you can get jobs without talking about your criminal record. You can lie, or you can just avoid talking about it. And I mean, I've gotten jobs that way, but if you want a good job, you're going to want to be upfront and honest. And I know that's really hard. I struggled with that for a long time, but truthfully, you want to be upfront and honest. And to do so is difficult. In my book, I have a book called Grit: How to Get a Job and Build a Career with a Criminal Record. It's on Amazon. If you're interested, go ahead and check it out. But in that book, I explain in detail how to explain your criminal record. And the way that I do it works really well. It's worked great for me. I've gotten other people to use it, and it's worked for them. And I use a thing called the CODC storyline. Basically, you take 2 to 3 minutes to tell your story about how you got a criminal record and how you've overcome it and how you're not the same person anymore. And the CODC stands for circumstances, ownership, development, and change. So as you walk them through this 2 to 3 minute story, you tell them these things in my life were out of place. Like I had a broken home, I was addicted to drugs, my mother wasn't around, whatever it is. Tell them some circumstances so that they understand that you're not just a criminal. You weren't just out making horrible decisions. You had some unique situations that you were living through. But then turn around and say, but I also know that I made that decision and it was my responsibility to not make bad decisions, and I messed up. But since I've messed up, this is when you talk about development. You say circumstances, ownership. Then you talk about how you developed since taking ownership. Maybe you were arrested. You take ownership for that. But since then, you've matured. You've learned the value of hard work. You've focused on education, whatever it may be. Talk about how you've developed. And then lastly, finish it off by talking about how you are not the same person anymore. How have you changed? It's fairly easy. If you have changed, you can explain how you've changed. If you haven't changed, you're going to have a hard time explaining that. For me, it's very easy. You know, I have a wife now. I just bought a house. I work a lot. I volunteer. I went to college. Lots of things I've done that prove that I've changed. So for me, when I tell my criminal record, it's almost just to the hiring manager, it's just a policy issue. They have to say, well, let me see if we can hire you. If we can, we'd like to. Whereas if you can't explain how you've taken ownership, how you've developed, and how you've changed, it's not a policy thing. It's probably just maybe they don't want to hire you because they don't think you've developed or changed. So you need to be able to explain your criminal record and how you've changed. And again, you can get my book if you want to. It is on Amazon. And then number 4, be personable and be professional. This is pretty straightforward. Be kind, be friendly, smile, try to remember the person's name, say the person's name. People really like that. And then, of course, simple stuff. Don't wear blue jeans. Wear dress pants. Wear dress shoes with dress socks. Tuck in your shirt. Tuck in a button-up shirt and show up on time. And the last one is be resilient, because the honest truth is that you're not always going to get the first job. You're not going to always get the job that you want. But resilience is key. The people who really do get good jobs are the people who weren't discouraged easily, the people who didn't immediately give up. I have a great job, but I interviewed probably 2-3 dozen times with great companies before I got the job I have now. So just to recap, know yourself, know the position, be prepared to explain your criminal record, be personable and professional, and lastly, be resilient. I'd like to invite you to check out backgroundmenot.com. That is my website, pretty much where I help people with criminal records, with different things, education, employment, several things though. I also have a course on my website. You could sign up to take my course, and it's $19.99, and it's a 3-day online course on interview mastery, how to learn how to interview really well. I'll teach you everything I know about how to interview really well, and I will also teach you how to use the CODC storyline. There's a 17-page printable workbook, so you can, when you enroll in the class, you can print the workbook and you can follow along through the course. Like I said, it's 3 days, but it's only about 30 minutes a day, maybe an hour a day worth of work. So please check that out. It's $19.99, but you can get it for half off if you use the promo code BLOG or the promo code newsletter. So blog or newsletter, you can get that class for 50% off. It's on backgroundmenot.com. Let me know what you think about my 5 tips. Of course, I did this video for free. I hope it's going to help you. But if you choose that you want to dig in more and learn more about how I've overcome my past, you can check out my book, or you can go to backgroundmenot.com and listen to the interviews I've done. You can read my blog post. There's lots of free content. You can also check out that interview mastery course. Thank you for checking out Background Me Not YouTube channel. And until I talk to you next time, good luck out there.